we're gonna start one more time. If you're just joining us, that's because I probably won't post the intro to any of these people, just simply because we had some technical issues with Discord. I'm currently running on the app now. Should be great. Should be fantastic. We should be live and recording, and it's great. And we're going to jump right into it. We're not going to go through a whole thing again. We're going to jump right into it. Apologize to those of you that are here on Twitch. It's greatly and deeply saddening to me. This is not normally the case, and hopefully I will have this issue resolved prior to Sunday and prior to next week. But since we're all good, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to unmute Discord, and we're going to see where our party was last at.
Twice now.
Okay.
The session has been delayed.
Ghost.
So, since
Yes.
I am specifically not going to do any of the intro stuff, we're going to jump right into it. When we last saw our adventurers, they had escaped Mulberg and headed down to the town in order to get a ship and leave the port. Battered and broken, they had met a new party member sent to them by the Emperor, Miss Aelin Ashriver. And party was still, I think, probably getting used to the difference between Ashriver and the previous character, which was Vi. Yes, Megan, I mentioned that, by the way, in the intro that we didn't get. Yes, it still says that Vi is an active member of the party, but she's not. She's not.
She did.
She is dead, yes. So, we last left our party at that moment with 4 of them hopping on the boat and getting settled, and 2 of them off to make some coin, in which they were mildly successful and then quite unsuccessful. But before we do that, the first thing I want to see in the game is Dane is still with you, correct, Jackson? Yeah. Okay. So the 4 of you that are going and getting on the boat and getting prepared, getting ready for the day, or it's nighttime now, basically. But I want to catch up with what everybody's been doing there. Does anybody have any things that they would be doing in preparation to depart between the 3, technically, of you that are here?
Yeah. Go first, Jackson.
I wouldn't be doing much. I would just be hanging around, fiddling with my daggers.
This is aside from the stealing that's going on, correct?
That is not something that is going on. Or that is yes. In the same timeline. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. And I'm getting prepared.
Okay.
He's not doing anything special. He's just kind of hanging around.
Okay. What about you, Morella?
I am going to chat with our friendly new companion that we've acquired.
Okay.
So Morella, makes her way over to wherever Aelin is.
Where would Aelin be? Getting situated on the boat or whatever?
Well, there's how many crew members? 3, you said?
So, I actually wrote this down because I wanted to make sure that I got it correct. That was also 3 weeks ago, so let me make sure. Nope, that's not it. Nope, that's not it either. Nope, that's not it either. That's Titanfall 2 code. Why do I have so many separate notes? There we go. I got it now. Yeah, so there's 3 crew and the captain. And the crew member that you had first dealt with was first mate Rightway, and she was kind of like the one who haggled with I forgot all your names, Arcadi for so long about like the writ of passage and that kind of stuff. And then there is Glenroy and Gainsley are the other 2 shipwrights that exist on the boat. And you were also told that there would be 3 additional passengers besides the group of you.
Yeah, so more or less, Aylin's a very social person. I think that she would be just chatting with them, learning all about their lives, and just completely fascinated with each and every one of them. And
sure.
If any of them had something that they wanted specifically, like maybe her help with or something like that.
So I think that the captain is currently not on board, and neither the shipwrights are probably not on board. But 2 of the passengers are on board. There are 2 human passengers, and one of them, they have like a metal kind of cook fire that's set up on like the bow of the boat, and you see an individual who's kind of in darker robes, with his hood pulled up, kind of just sitting like kind of basking in the heat of the fire. It's very warm out here, but you know, there's a difference between like the heat of the day and the heat of a fire.
Okay, yeah, I'm definitely gonna be
and hold on, I'm not done yet. And the other passenger is probably he's probably up walking around. They're both men. The other passenger is probably up walking around, kind of at the bow of the boat, and you see him he's pacing to one side, and he kind of like looks over the side of the boat, and then you know he stands up, and you can see him like kind of like he's got like little mental tics that he's like making to himself, and he walks over to the other side of the boat, and he looks down over that side, and then he like is clearly like thinking hard to himself or trying to remember something, and then he continues on.
Yeah, so I mean, I know that Marilla wanted to chat with me, but I would have attached myself to one of them, probably the one who seemed slightly more anxious,
Sure.
and just tried to calm them or see if I could help them in some way if there was something that they were looking for. Very, very accommodating.
Sure, yeah, and you walk up, and his hair is cut short. It's kind of like a darker, or like a lighter brown, darker blonde, a dirty blonde color. And as he's pacing, you approach him. You can see he's got kind of not the bright blue eyes, but kind of that duller blue in his eyes. And he's, I would say that he's probably an average-looking individual. As far as like general features and just the way that he looks very unassuming. But as you get closer, you can see that he's clearly like mouthing words to himself. And as you approach, he kind of looks at you, and you're regaled as a priestess. And he gives you like a polite little bow, and he says, "Priestess, I did not see you approach. How may I be of any assistance to you today?"
I was going to ask you much the same question. Is there something you're looking for? Can I be of any help?
No, I require nothing, priestess, but I thank you for your kindness and generosity.
Are you sure? Aylin gives her a look. Now, she has this look, right? That I think that most people who have ever seen, well, I mean, maybe an educator, but someone who works with people for a living, who's like, has that look of, no, I know you're not telling me all the truth, and I'm not going to leave until you tell me. So she kind of gives that look to his face, and it's just like, are you positive? I'm here to help. I don't have much else to do at the moment. I'm waiting for the rest of my party.
Sure. Do you want to roll a persuade check for me?
Sure.
This is something he would not part with, I think, easily. 22 will do it, though. So he kind of like looks at you, and you see him like he kind of looks out over the bow of the ship again, and he kind of like scratches the back of his head. And he's like, to be honest, priestess, I've never been on a boat before. It's quite racking on the nerves. I know it's just a river. It's not anything like the great oceans, you understand. But, the boat could do any number of things. It could capsize, or we could be assailed by ne'er-do-wells.
I think she'd cut him off a little bit and say, "Oh, now come. The gods, they'll be watching out for us. There's no reason to fret. This looks like a mighty fine vessel. I'm sure we will be just fine. Don't you worry."
Yeah, and I think he looks at you and he says, as you say, priestess, poor Karadak. The gods don't look out for him very often.
Oh, care to tell me about it?
Yeah, I think that you're clearly like a benevolent priestess. And so he probably launches into a bit of like, joking about how, he always loses at cards, and he always, the pair of pants that he puts on and puts his money in always has a hole in it, and it falls through, and then he can't find it, and, just generally this guy seems to be very unlucky. Just as a general rule in life for him, he appears to be very, very unfortunate in everything that he does. And probably as he's doing that, Morella, is when you approach.
Yeah, she silently approaches and kind of just presents herself in this conversation as it goes on, and just waits until it's finished.
Yeah,
I think that Aelin would see you approach and say something like, "Oh, perfect. Lady Morella, please tell this lovely man how totally sturdy this ship is, how there's absolutely nothing that can go wrong. He says he has very bad luck, but last time I checked, the gods will look out for any of those who are very pious."
She raises an eyebrow as she says this, like, "Are you serious?" type of manner.
And she's 100% serious.
Yeah, and she sees this, and she looks at the young man, and she just gives a simple smile, and depending on whether or not his one would say insight skills are perfect or not, I would assume that Aelin would be able to deter this, but Morella is entirely faking her smile. It's not real, genuine. And she just simply says, "Yes, it's fine. As long as we're here, nothing bad will happen."
Aelin nods emphatically.
And she's like, "So, how are you accommodating on the ship, Aelin?"
"Oh, quite well. Everyone has been so kind to me. I'm just waiting for us to get going."
"Yeah, going." And she kind of looks off, and she's like, "Well, I need to have a chat with you whenever you're done with this conversation." She starts walking off.
Yeah, cool. Hannibal, you be doing anything else while you're on the boat?
I want to approach.
Do you want to approach the conversation, or by the cook brazier?
The cook brazier guy seems more interesting.
Yeah, so you walk over there, and as you move past him, you see that this man has long, dark hair that hangs down past his shoulders, and he has a large beard. It appears to be slightly unkempt, but not so much so that he appears unwashed or, unclean. It just seems like maybe it's been a couple days, and with that much hair and that much beard, it's hard to just keep it in order on the road. And as you round the corner, you see that the robes that he has are actually it's more of a cloak. Probably would be a better, more apt description. But it's actually open in the front, but it has sleeves. It's almost like if somebody took robes and just split them down the middle, right? There's a name for the garment, I just can't think of it currently. It's like a trench coat, basically, with a hood, if you want to imagine that visual. And underneath you can see he's wearing very worn studded leather armor. And immediately as you round the corner, you can see that he's also armed. He has a short sword that's kind of laying in front of him as he's sitting cross-legged by the fire. And then curled up in his lap is this this long whip that you can just barely see on the handle end of it. It has a like a red gemstone on the bottom that's kind of like with the rope part of it like wrapped around, and the rope snakes out and it gets thinner as it goes to the end, and then at the end you can see there's the string or little thin pieces of rope or wire that are holding these two long like canine incisors at the end of it, as if you were to if you snap the end of the whip, that's what would impact with somebody. And he has very much. He's probably in his late 30s, early 40s. Very worn face. Definitely some wrinkles and stuff already. But his eyes are sharp and bright. They appear to be taking in everything that are observed around him. And as you approach him, he appears that he was monitoring like that conversation that was going on, and then as you approach, he turns his eyes up to you and looks at you, and he gives you like just like the slightest of like nods to acknowledge that he's noticed you.
I sit down by the fire right beside him.
Okay.
Pretty cold morning.
I'll tell you right now, it's evening.
Pretty cold evening.
Yeah. Uh-huh. And I think that he kind of looks, he kind of like grunts. He's like, yes, it's fairly cold in all parts of the world this time of year.
True enough. Where are you from, stranger?
I think he kind of looks and he goes, I'm not from around here, if that's what you're asking.
Me neither.
Yes, I can tell.
I extend my hand to him.
Sure.
Hannibal D. Solomon.
Yeah. And he kind of looks at your hand for a moment, and you see him, he raises his hands and he starts to pull off his gloves. And as he pulls off his gloves, you can see on the back of his right hand, there is a symbol. It looks like it was traced in charcoal. Maybe it's a tattoo of some sort. But he extends his hand to shake it, and I assume you shake. And
Shablam. Dang it. Didn't work.
PG.
But I also need roll a wisdom saving throw for Dane, please.
Does Dane have inspiration?
Nope. He did pass though, luckily. But you hear in the back of your mind, you hear just the briefest moment of panic from Dane, and then it's retreated as if Dane has like closed himself off to the rest of the world, momentarily.
Can I recognize that symbol on his hand?
Nope. Not even close. I'm not even gonna make you roll for it. It appears to be a symbol. It's circular, and it appears to be kind of a jagged line that loops around like a spiral in on itself. And then where it comes to a point in the middle, it traces and branches out like a tree down the forearm. But since he's got long sleeves, that's kind of all you can see of it. But no, you've never seen it before.
So, and also real quick, since Dane's retreated himself, he obviously didn't tell me what he was thinking at the moment.
No, and if you reach out to him, there's a wall there.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Okay.
In order to save himself, he had to do something.
Okay.
And you'll find out later.
So, I play it off. I think I could do that pretty well in the fact that I'm wearing a mask.
Yeah, there's the momentary, like, what the but you're wearing a mask, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And after he shakes your hand for a while, he pulls it back and he begins to pull his glove back on. And he's like, the name's Brighthand, Merrick Brighthand. It's a pleasure, Hannibal.
So, you heading to Nome for business or pleasure?
I think he chuckles softly a bit, and he's like, my life has known not many pleasures, but it is always business with me.
I see. And then I'd like to make a little bit of small talk before I move on to my next target.
Sure, yeah. He's not one to mince words very easily, but he speaks with the voice of experience. Just like when you talk to someone who is intelligent and knows what they're about, you can just tell that by the way that they speak and the way that they hold themselves. This individual seems... but you do get an alignment. Because you always get that. Or no, you don't get an alignment. You always get surface thoughts, right?
Yes.
Surface thought or surface like emotion is caution. That's the emotion that you received.
Okay. So I like to disconnect with him, and then instead of going to the next guy, I think I'm going to go to Morella.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
I disengage from Bright Hand.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I can imagine, like, as she departs from the conversation that Aelin is having with one of the crewmates, she's walking off and, like, engages with Hannibal.
Yeah.
And, you know, she's, like, walking over to, like, one of the sides of the boat, and she's like, Hannibal.
That man over there, don't look.
She doesn't even look. She's just like, fine.
Be careful of him. Don't let him touch you.
I'll be sure not to let another man touch me. Hannibal.
Not what I mean.
She smirks, and she's like, I know.
There's something about him. I'm not sure.
Hannibal.
Mm.
And she, like, leans over, like, the railing of the boat, and she's like, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Is what I'm doing right?
What do you mean?
This path that I walk, is it the right one?
Well, that's the thing. You never really know to the end. Just walk the path you want to walk for now.
I'm not sure if this is the one I want to walk anymore.
And stop walking it.
There's too much at stake. And we already gave so much for this path. I don't know. I just have doubts, Hannibal.
Feel free to voice them and we'll work them through.
And she kind of like just looks over at you, Hannibal, and like smiles weakly. And she's like, I know that, Hannibal.
I'm always here.
Tell me though. Do you recall exactly what happened down there? Down in the tunnels?
I was out after you, but I remember a little bit. If you're asking specifically if I was there at the moment, no, I was not.
And she nods and she's like, kind of like, maybe like slaps her, like, you know, using both hands to like slap her cheeks. And she's like, now, where are the others? Where's that small one? Petrov. And
yeah, no, that's a perfect moment to flash over to Chester.
Yes.
There is a growling animal approaching the door in which you had opened and presented Jerky.
Put down the
and
pup.
it does not appear that Jerky is what it wants, and it is approaching and will detect you in your entirety in just a moment. It noticed something was wrong just because, you know, light spilled in and, you know, there was movement, but that's because it's a dog. And then it noticed something was wrong too when there was the smell of meat and a hand being, you know, proffered. You have a split second, or I should say approximately 6 seconds to take an action to do something before the dog is on you. and understands that you are not a friend.
Chester's obviously going to do what he does best and hide.
I'm actually not sure what Chester does
Like-
best anymore.
Yeah, neither am I. But we're gonna go with hiding.
Okay,
He's
so
gonna
so
back
how are
away
you were
from
going
the
to hide?
door.
Because remember, you had a pretty good hide roll, and this thing did not detect your presence via like motion, but it could smell you. Is the deal?
Piss on yourself.
So I'm gonna guess that yes, if the dog smells me, it's gonna come and investigate. But if it doesn't see anything, it might not bark. So
So where are you going to hide? Just to remember, you are in this hallway, and Farron is down on the other end of the hallway where the two doors are, and then you are down on the side of the hallway that is one door, and then in the middle of the hallway there's a door that is like facing the loft that leads down the staircase to the front door.
and I checked that door and there wasn't anything in it.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah, it was a child's room. Remember?
Yes. I'm going to head back towards the child's room and kind of hope the dog follows me.
Okay.
And that's
So
when
you're
I'm
gonna creep off, and like try and like slide into the child's room. Okay, cool. Yeah. So you can definitely get there and try and slip in there. Just roll me another stealth check, just because the circumstances have changed and now you're being pursued.
I am using my inspiration on this.
I assume you're leaving the piece of jerky there so that perhaps the dog will be distracted.
I actually want to try and bring the dog to the child's
Okay,
room.
sure.
So I'm going to bring it with me. Maybe it just smells beef jerky. Maybe that's what happened.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Good. Nice. 22 is a good one. So, you proceed and you slip into the child's room, and do you close the door all the way when you do so?
I do not actually
Okay,
leave
so
it
you
partially
leave it open so that the dog could come in as well.
Mhm.
Farron, you're here, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Farron, you were down on the other end of the hallway, and you investigated a room that appeared to be the, if I remember correctly, the servants' quarters, and then you were
Yes.
moving to the other door, and as you open it up, you can see that it appears to be the master bedroom. Roll me a perception check. This is going to be for a couple of different things.
Sure. Holy crap.
Okay. So you can tell that there is someone in here, probably sleeping in the bed. You can hear like kind of the soft breathing of someone asleep. But nothing else from any other immediate places. There's no light in here either. It's kind of dark, which doesn't bother you all that much. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, master bedroom. That's where most of the good stuff is.
that's the good stuff. Yeah.
I'm going to creep in there.
Okay. Good. So you begin to make your way in there, and you do you close the door behind you, or do you leave it open for a quick escape?
Slightly open.
Sure. Yeah.
So,
Cool. So you go in there, and you can see that there is indeed there's a form lying in the master bedroom, lying in the bed itself, kind of all covered up. It's hard to see if it's male, female, dwarf, whatever. And so as you're kind of like walking in the room, you can see there's an armoire that has like a box of jewelry and all of that stuff that you might want to steal from an armoire. There's two wardrobes in the room, one on either side of the bed. There's your traditional like changing slats, right? Like the folding up pieces of wood that hide someone when they're changing. And what else is in this room? There's probably a large kind of like box at the foot of the bed, like a foot locker almost. And then on the wall, you can see there's a large heraldry of of the Lord, and then like it's got a weapons rack that has there's a rapier on it, there's a saber on it, there's a long sword and a short sword, and then like on either side of that there's like a battle axe on one side and like a maul on the other side. Guy collects weapons, obviously.
Which is always a good thing to see, you know.
Yeah, seems great.
All right. Well, first things first. Jewelry is always a good thing to take first.
Cool. Yeah. So you're gonna sneak over to the jewelry and begin nabbing it up. Roll me a stealth check, just because you're actively doing stuff with someone in the room, even though they're asleep. They're gonna have disadvantage to detect you though, because they're asleep.
Yeah. I rolled a 3. Holy crap.
A 13's not bad. What I think this is just a human, so I don't think they have any good stuff with it. So nope, you're fine.
Don't worry, he rolled 3 too.
I also rolled a 3. Yes, it's true. So yeah, so maybe there's a moment of like you open up the jewelry box lid and it goes, and like you look over and the person just like rolls over and you're like, you know, you breathe that sigh of relief. Meanwhile, Chester, through your tiny little vantage point in the sliver of the door, you're peering down the hallway and you see that out comes. It's probably about the size of a Labrador, but it's clearly like a mix. You know, it's a hound or retriever of some sort. And it kind of creeps out the door. Its nose is kind of held in the air. It's not growling any longer, it appears. But it comes out the door and it kind of like looks up and down the hallway and begins like trotting in your direction. Also roll me a perception check.
Sorry, I didn't hear that last part. It cut out.
Roll a perception check.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So you are in the children's room, and there were 2 beds in here. And in one of those beds, it is clear that there is like a child sleeping. You can, again, hear kind of the rise and fall of the breathing. And they appear to be having a dream of some sort. They're like mumbling a little bit as they're like rolling over.
Okay.
So as the dog approaches, it kind of like it sniffs like down the stairs a little bit and puts its nose to the ground and begins sniffing around. And then we're gonna roll a perception check for it, and it gets advantage. D20. That's... I rolled 1d20. Hold on. For some reason. Okay, it gets an 18. So, it has detected the scent of the jerky, and so it kind of is approaching the door. What are you going to do? What's your plan here, Chester?
My plan is to slowly close the door behind it while I walk out of the room, and leave the jerky like right by the child's bed.
Okay, so you toss the jerky over, and then you like spider climb up. So you're like 4 arms outstretched, legs outstretched, like above the dog, Spider-Man style, as it walks under you and goes over to the jerky.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, no, I think that's totally a thing that can occur here. It didn't roll high enough to detect you, but it did roll pretty high. So you kind of like creep up, and the door like opens up a little bit more as the dog kind of just like bursts into it. It goes running over, and it gets the jerky, and it picks it up and snarls a little bit as it starts to chew it. And then once it's gobbled it up, it jumps up on the bed with the kid, and right as you descend down and slide out the door, the kid's woken up, and the kid is like, what are you doing? Get off me! And there appears to be a minor like surprising struggle inside of the room between the dog trying to sleep in the bed and the kid getting woken up from its dream and disoriented.
I'm going to close the door most of the way, as if the wind did it, but not close it.
Sure, and where are you going to head?
Back to the room the dog came from.
Okay, cool. So, you begin headed down there, and you peek in the door, and it doesn't appear there's anything else snarling at you, and you enter, and this appears to be a playroom for the children, or child, because there's only one. But it has like a lot of like toys laid out and cool little things, trinkets and baubles and all kinds of stuff. But there's probably something of value in here if you wanted to do a investigation roll for me.
I'll do a quick check of the room.
Yeah, just a once over.
Oh,
nice.
Okay.
So you can see. Well, let me find where I wrote this down, because I actually did write this down last
My
session.
once over was pretty good.
Yeah, your once over was you looked immediately at the thing that was a thing. Which one was it is the real question. Right. Okay, so this is what it was. So you can see there's like a bunch of like books that are on like a bookshelf. But one of them
More
has like
fucking
fallen
books.
off of the bookshelf and is lying on the ground, and it's open. And inside of it, you can see there's like this faint. It's not a glow, like it doesn't shed light, but it's almost like luminescence, where you can see it and it shines more brightly in the nighttime, but it doesn't actually illuminate anything. But there appears to be something glowing, or like a glow stick almost, like lying in the middle of that book, that is fallen on its spine and opened up.
I obviously have to go check it out.
Yeah, so you walk over there and you look, and as cliche as it might sound, there is a 4-leaf clover lying in the middle of that book, and it's pressed flat as if it was been smashed and kept inside of the book for a very long time.
I'm going to pick up the whole book and not just the
Sure.
book.
Yeah. So you pick up the whole book, and are you gonna close it so it doesn't
I
shine
am
light?
going to close it and tuck it away in my cloak.
Sure. Yeah. So you put it in a pocket in your cloak. Jackson, what sounds so delicious on your end?
His phone.
Your phone?
No, that was Pocky.
Okay. Fantastic.
My phone's going off.
I just like to shame Jackson when we can all clearly hear him eating through his microphone.
Which is
Yep.
always.
Right, which is always. Okay, cool. So you do that, and you acquire the thing. The rest of your once over natural 20 doesn't really observe anything. There's like, some nicely crafted like fallen cups, right? Like there's like a probably like a silver cup that has like a wooden ball. Might be worth a few gold, or a few silver. Haha.
Or it's a nice play toy.
Or it's a
Jess
nice
just
play
wanted
toy.
to take it.
Yeah, so you can totally take it and make it as a nice play toy. That's totally cool. But other than that, there doesn't appear to be anything of value in here.
Leaving. Wanna
Yeah.
get out of that room
So
as fast as
Farron,
possible.
though, as you pick up the jewels, do you do anything else in the room? Are you gonna go observe anything else?
Yeah, I'm going to continue looking around. Perhaps
Okay.
in the closest wardrobe and things.
Sure. Yeah. Roll me an investigation check.
Because I'm great at these.
See. Everybody like. Oh my god. Damn.
Beautiful.
Hold on.
Absolutely beautiful.
Hold on, can I just say that right now, Farron and Chester, fucking Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah. So I think that. Yeah. So you head over as well. You creak open the wardrobe. There's a bunch of women's clothes. Maybe Morella would appreciate a dress, but I doubt it. You walk over to the other wardrobe.
Like 6 sizes too big.
There's like some finer, like
Fine.
finer like lordly clothes. And you do notice too that the individual in the bed is clearly the lady of the house. The lord is not in here currently. And so then you walk over to like the desk that's sitting underneath the large heraldry with all the weapons and stuff. And you begin like rifling through the drawers and, you know, looking for stuff that's valuable as you do. And you come across what do you come across? Let's see here.
A 7-leaf clover.
No. Perfect. So you're rifling through the place, and your hand bumps up against like a closed wooden case. And so you pull it out and you open it up, and inside, probably about the size, I don't know, probably about 3 inches in diameter around, is a cut gemstone that appears to be a dark, like bloodish red, almost like a ruby, but it's massive. And you hold it up, and it looks gorgeous. It looks beautiful, and is probably worth more than any of the gems that you have in your possession already.
That's definitely going straight in the pack.
Yeah, so you close up. It's sitting on like a nice like kind of emerald green pillow inside of the case. So you put that in there, and that's the thing that you find with your 20.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's awesome.
That's pretty cool.
Should I continue to test my luck and continue to search?
Yes.
I mean,
Was that a
this
question?
this was far more successful than you guys anticipated already. So
Oh god, yes.
it's up to you.
Yeah, why not? I've still got my get out of jail free card.
Obvious answer is push our luck to the limits.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's nothing else really of value in here, but you guys could go down to the first level. You guys have kind of, explored everything there is to explore on the upper level. But there's still like the sitting area and the dining area, which you may be able to get something of value from down there.
Yeah.
That would be the equivalent of pushing your luck, because unless you wanted to go dig through the servants' quarters, if that's a thing that you wanted to do, that's the only room that you haven't really like inspected fully.
Mm-hmm. There was still some people awake downstairs, weren't